A very good morning, dear students. Welcome to e-learning classes of Sacred Hearts of the subject Business Studies. Dear students, in the previous lecture of Business Studies, we have started the topic Important Documents Used in the Formation of a Joint Stock Company. And in that, we have discussed about the first at most important document, that was Memorandum of Association. If we take a very small recap about the Memorandum of Association, then it was considered as one of the most important or the principal document of the company, also considered as the charter of the company, as it used to contain powers and objectives of the company that used to provide information to the outsiders such as creditors and suppliers. That is why it is also known as doctrine of outdoor management. Thereafter, we have discussed about the different contents of memorandum of association. We have discussed about the very first content, that is a name clause and its alteration, how the alteration or the changes can be done. Thereafter, secondly, we have discussed about the situation or the domicile clause and its alteration in the three conditions: interstate change of the registered office, in the state different city changing of the registered office, and the in the same city different locations of the changing. Thereafter, we have discussed about the object clause containing the primary and secondary objectives of the company and its alteration. Liability clause, liability of the members either limited by shares or company limited by guarantee, both we have discussed its alteration. We have discussed about the capital clause that states about the authorized or the nominal capital of the company, its alteration. Thereafter, lastly, we have discussed about the association or the subscription clause, and this is the only clause that cannot be altered anyhow. Today we are going to discuss the left out two important document, articles of association and prospectus. So let's get started. The very first will be the meaning of article of association. So see over, dear students, article of association contains rules and regulations regarding the management of the company's internal affair. So basically it used to deal or include all those rules and regulations which are associated for the solving of the internal affairs of the company, management of the company. It defines the powers, duties and rights of managers and officers and board of directors. All these are the regulators of the company. Generally, all the companies prepare their own article of association, but if a company don't want to prepare its article of association, then it can take any table out of the table F. It can take any article of association out of the table F of Companies Act. And this F table contains 99 models. How many? 99 models of article of association. Now see further, the article of association must be signed by all the directors of the company and it must be duly attested by any two witnesses. All the directors must sign the article of association. Along with the sign of articles of association, it must be signed with the witnesses as well. Now we will discuss about the components of the articles of association. There are different components such as the very first, the amount of share capital and different classes of shares, which type of shares have been issued, rights of each type of shareholder. If different type of shares are there, then what are the rights of the shareholders, procedure for making allotment of share, how the shares are allotted. Next, procedure for issuing of the share certificate. After the purchase of the share, there must be a evidence for that, so that is a share certificate. Procedure of transfer of share, how the shares are transferred. Procedure of forfeiture of shares, that is a particular situation in which company used to repurchase its shares when the unpaid calls are there. Thereafter, procedure for the reissue of the forfeited shares, the shares that have been taken back by the company, how they will be reissued. Thereafter, procedure for conducting meetings, duties, powers and remuneration of directors, procedure regarding the winding up of the company, in case the company is to be winded up, how it will be winded up, and seal of the company, and so on. All these are the elements or the components of article of association, which used to play a very important role in day-to-day activity and the management of the company. Now the next topic is the alteration of article of association, how the articles of association can be altered or can be changed. Then see over here, a company may change its article of association by passing a special resolution. A special resolution is to be passed, but we have to consider some points. And what are these points? The very first point is the alteration must not be contrary or against the provision of Memorandum of Association or Companies Act. It must not like that it will become the opposite of the MOA or the Companies Act. Second, it must not result in the breach of contract. Breach, that means break. Breach of contract with outsider that have been signed earlier. The next one, it must be in the interest of the company, that must be purely beneficial for the company. And next, it must not result in increasing the liability of its member. It is not like that the members are with the increased liability after that. And the last, if the alteration involves conversion of the public company into private company, that means the public company is being converted into private company, then the approval of the central government must be obtained. It is compulsory. Now see the difference between MOA and AOA. Initially the nature, if we talk about the nature, then MOA is a charter and AOA is considered as the bylaws of the company, that is basically associated with the internal affairs. Thereafter scope, if we talk about the scope of memorandum, then it defines the objects and powers of the company, whereas article of association only includes rules and regulation for day-to-day operation. Thereafter third basis status, memorandum of association is the fundamental document of the company and it supersedes the article. It is the primary document and the article of association is a supplementary or the secondary document. Thereafter legal effect, in the memorandum of association, acts done beyond the scope of memorandum are void. You cannot go beyond the memorandum of association, but acts beyond the articles can be rectified by the shareholder. It can be corrected. Next compulsion. So the preparation and filing of memorandum of association is compulsory, whereas if we talk about article of association, then it is not compulsory in nature. The next one, relationship. It defines what? Memorandum of association defines relationship of a company with outside world, whereas article of association reveals the relation of company with its members, insiders. And alteration, just see in the memorandum of association, it is a difficult and lengthy process. Even sometimes the approval of central government or the company law board is to be taken. But if we talk about the articles of association, then it is comparatively a easy process until and unless you are not converting the public company into private company. Now see the next and last important document, that is prospectus. And what is it? Just see over here, a public limited company limited by share, only limited by share, not limited by guarantee, must issue the prospectus if it wants to make an appeal to the public to subscribe to its shares or debentures. So if a public company which is limited by share wants to common public to subscribe the shares or debentures, then it have to issue prospectus. Now see, according to Companies Act 2013, a prospectus is a document. It may be any notice, circular, advertisement or other document, but that invites deposits or offer from public for the subscription or purchase of shares or debentures of a corporate body, but it must invite the common public for the purchase of the financial securities of the company. Now see the essentials of the prospectus. Essential elements of prospectus. The very first, there must be an invitation to the general public at large. It must not be specific to a particular class, specific to a particular category. It must be an open invitation for the common public at the large scale. Second, the invitation must be made by or on the behalf of company. Either the company is have to be made or any of the representative on behalf of the company, the invitation will be given. And the last, the invitation must be to subscribe or to purchase its share or debenture. An invitation for the purpose of only either for the purchase of share or for the debenture. So this is all about today. Today we have discussed about the two important documents, that is the articles of association and prospectus. This is all for today. God bless you all. Lots of love.